Familiar, you're familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
Hello students, so welcome back to my YouTube channel again. So now in this video part number 5, okay, in the chapter motion, so let us have some discussion on the various types of forces. Okay, so just brief discussion on the various types of forces acting on any body. Clear? Okay, first of all, the fundamental force, as you know, so we have a fundamental force exists on the earth, which is that because of that force only, so we are all able to see so many things lying on the surface of the earth, right? So why the things are lying on surface of the earth always? Okay, the question is why they are always permanently lying on surface of the earth unless the other forces acting on it. Okay, according to Newton's first law, you know that unless the external force acting on any body, the body will continue to be at rest, isn't it? So even for that rest body also, there is some force acting on it. Okay, now the question is about that particular force only. Okay, why the body is lying always on the surface of the earth and what is the force acting on it always. Okay, so the only one force acting on the body to maintain its state of rest is called gravitational force, right? So particularly it is called gravitational force of earth. But now in fact, or you can say in general, so there will be a always attractive force between any two objects in the universe. Okay, it may be between a small object and earth, or it may be between any two planets. Okay, you take any two objects in the space also. So always there will be an attractive force exerted between the two mutual bodies. Okay, so that is why in general we can define the gravitational force as all objects exerts a force of attraction upon each other. So that is called actually gravitational force. Okay, so if you are thinking about the earth as a planet, okay, so then we can consider particularly the gravitational force of the earth only. So hence we can define now the attractive force exerted by the earth on an object is called the gravitational force by the earth. Gravitational force by the earth it is. Okay, so like that even you can consider the gravitational force by the moon, gravitational force by the Jupiter, like that. So all planets will have the gravitational force of attraction. Even sun is also having gravitational force of attraction. That is why all planets are revolving around the sun. Okay, in fact that is the greatest gravitational force we can say in our solar system, right? So particularly gravitational force of earth we can define it as now Fg bar. Okay, this is one fundamental force. So this force is directed towards the center of the earth because it is a vector quantity. What is the direction of that gravitational force? Always towards the center of the earth. And then you look at the second point. So for a freely falling body of mass m, okay, how do you calculate the force acting on the body of mass m? So we need to take the help of Newton's law, right? So consider freely falling body of mass m. Okay, so only significant force acting on it is now only Fg bar. Okay, when it is freely falling without any force acting on it, then only the major force or significant force acting on the freely falling body is the gravitational force of attraction, Fg bar. In that particular case, so apply the Newton's law by considering the acceleration of the freely falling body as now equal to z bar. A bar is equal to z bar and the total force, sum of the force means total force acting on the body is equal to only Fg bar, correct? So therefore we obtain the equation from Newton's law as Fg bar is equal to now m into g bar, right? So instead of the general acceleration, you will write now acceleration due to gravity, that is g bar. Okay, so equation for the force of gravity is given by m into g bar, right? So this is the one force you have to consider. Now related to this force, we have to define the another force acting on the objects. What is that force? You know, that is called weight, right? W bar is the weight of a object. So it is related to this fundamental gravitational force only. Okay, if there is no gravitational attraction force, then there is no weight, right? So we can define the weight as now, say the weight W bar of a body is a force and that pulls the body directed towards the earth. So it is because of the weight the body is pulled down always towards center of the earth. So that pulling force towards the center of the earth is called now weight. And hence we can define, so pulling force is nothing but what actually? The gravitational force, right? And hence we can define the weight of an object is defined as the magnitude of the gravitational force only. It is just equal to magnitude of the gravitational force only, right? So that you can write now W bar is equal to Fg bar, so given by m into g, mass of the body, and the value of g, the acceleration due to gravity, to be multiplied to the mass. Then only you will get the weight. So what is the value of g? We will multiply here, of course. G is equal to 9.8. So that means it is acceleration, so 9.8 meter per second square, correct? So this value is applicable for the gravitational force of earth. Okay, experimentally it is determined that the g value is 9.8 meter per second square for the earth, not for all in general. Okay, if you go to the moon, the value of g is different. Okay, value of g is little less than this value of 9.8. The gravity is less. Okay, I think you have observed that the objects are not firmly standing on the surface of the moon. So they are just floating. Okay, why? Because of less gravity. Okay, now you consider the next point. You see, it varies with geographic location. Of course, the weight you cannot expect always same. You think that weight of the object is always constant, but no, it is not always constant. Okay, if you change the location on the surface of the earth itself, so strictly speaking, the value of W, that means the weight of the body, is slightly changing depending upon the location. Okay, so even location means on surface of the earth, even just above the surface of the earth, right? So it all depends, because it basically depends upon g, and g is different at different location, and hence the corresponding weight also different. Okay, now look at the next point. Weight, unlike mass, okay, is not an inherent property of an object. Why? Mass, suppose if you consider mass, how do you distinguish the mass with weight? Mass basically depends upon what it have. Okay, it is a quantity of matter. Okay, so based on that we have the mass. So it is inherent property. Mass is an inherent property, but unlike mass, weight is not an inherent property of an object. Okay, now that is one difference between weight and mass, we can say. So look at the next point. So bodies weigh less at higher altitudes. So as you move higher altitudes from surface of the earth, what you will think about the weight? So weight less. Okay, the weight becomes lesser and lesser as you move away from surface of the earth. That is for higher altitudes. Okay, then the surface of the sea level. If you compare to the sea level, the weight of the body will be lesser as you move towards the higher altitudes than sea level. Okay, why? As I told again, because g decreases with increasing distance. The value of acceleration due to gravity decreases with increasing distance from the center of the earth. So that is why, okay, so as F is directly proportional to g, so force, F or W both, okay, so both will decrease less as you move to the higher altitudes. Clear? So finally, how do you measure the weight? In what units in SI system? So it is measured in Newton. Okay. Weight is measured in Newton. Why? Because weight is a force. Force, what is the unit of force? Newton. And hence weight is also measured in Newton. Clear? Now let us see the next force, that is called normal force. Okay. So what is this normal force and where you will come across this normal force, you know? So whenever there is a weight for any object, okay, due to gravitational force of earth, the body is always pulled toward the center of the earth, right? But that is always balanced by another force that is called normal force. Okay. So to understand this normal force, let us consider a simple example. So where we are considering a body lying on a tabletop. Okay, just consider a body resting on a tabletop. Okay, not moving, it is just resting on the tabletop. Okay, now we can define the normal force in such a way that, see, when a body is pressing against the surface like this, it is just pressing the surface, not moving, of course, right? Then the body experiences a force that is always perpendicular to the surface. So this is surface, right? So perpendicular to the surface, or you can say this surface. Perpendicular to the surface, we have a force called normal force, right? That is why we can define like this. When a force is, when a body is pressed against a surface, the body experiences a force. The body experiences a force that is perpendicular to the surface. I mean, the body is having the weight, of course, downwards. But what is the force experienced by the body? Right? So that force you have to consider it as normal force. Okay? So this force is called the normal force, denoted by capital N bar. Right? So you can understand further with the help of figure again. See, the body is not accelerated. Is the body accelerated? No, it is at rest. Okay? The body is not accelerated vertically downwards. Why? Why it is not accelerated downwards? Because the earth, okay, so basically the earth in turn via table, okay, via table you have to say, in turn via table exert an upward force on the body. Clear? So that is called actually the normal force. So the basic cause for this normal force is again the earth itself. Okay, earth is acting some force on the body via table, so that it is holding the body to be at rest always. Okay, that means you can assume that these two forces are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. Right? Only two forces are acting here, of course. So when they are balanced in the opposite direction, so we can expect that the body is always at rest. Okay? Now, one more point to be noted in the example here is that, see, there are two forces as I said. So what are two forces acting on the body? The force is acted by the earth on the body via table, I said. That means table is also acting some force on the body. Both the forces are acting on the body itself, isn't it? Then, is that two forces make action and reaction pair? No. See, two forces exerted by earth on the body and by the table on the body. Both forces, okay, do not constitute an action-reaction pair. Do not constitute action-reaction pair. Why? Because both these forces act on the same body. They are not acting on each other here. Okay, they are acting on the same body, so they do not constitute action-reaction pair. The next force is, we will consider the friction. Okay, so again it is very familiar to you. See, consider existence of the frictional force with the help of a body which is sliding over the surface. Okay, suppose if it is a smooth surface on which we are keeping a body, or even you can consider rough surface also. The difference is you will get higher frictional force depending upon the type of surface. Either it may be a higher frictional force or lesser frictional force. That's it. Okay. So initially you consider a body which is at rest first. Okay. Then I will try to pull the body in one direction by applying some force. Okay. See, direction of the attempted force to get the motion. So which is the direction of the motion? Now the body expected to move in the direction of applied force, right? If the body is attempted to move in the direction of the applied force, okay, you will see that the body is resisted to move. Why it is resisted to move? So in between the surface, okay, at the surface of contact between the body and this surface at the bottom, so there will be a opposition is experienced by the body. So that opposition experienced by the body is called now frictional force. Okay, that is due to friction. The phenomenon is called friction. See, frictional force, we can write small f here. And this frictional force always exists between the surface of contact, at the surface of the contact, we can say. Okay, so in that way we can see the existence of frictional force between the moving body on any surface. Okay, if it is at rest, what is the frictional force? It is zero, in fact. Okay, but you don't think that there is no frictional force at all. So as long as it is on the surface without any external force acting on it, then only it is expected that frictional force is zero. But slightly if it starts moving, okay, due to the applied force, then immediately the frictional force increases from 0 to the maximum. Okay, so that part we will discuss in the next part, in the next chapter in detail. Okay, see, friction is the force directed opposite to the direction of the motion or attempted motion also, we can say, right? Then frictional force is always parallel to the surfaces in contact. You can say frictional force is always parallel to the surfaces in contact. See, this is the surface of contact, so parallel to this only we get the frictional force. Okay, and on what factor this frictional force depends? Just now as I said, depending upon the nature of the surfaces, rough surface or smooth surface, depending upon that, so we'll get the different magnitude for the frictional force. Okay, depends on the nature of the two surfaces. Okay, so what is the main cause for the frictional force? See, between the two surfaces. So if you observe it microscopically, okay, microscopic observation will give you the clear idea how the frictional force exists here. See, the surface is not that smooth. Okay, it appears like this. So this is the bottom surface, this is the body over it. Okay, so they are interlocked. The surfaces are interlocked in such a way that so they are at rest. The moment you move the body, okay, so this interlocking between the surface atoms, in fact this valleys, okay, this kind of valleys and hills, they are called actually hills and valleys alternately. So the hills and valleys are interlocked each other between the body and the surface when it is at rest. Okay, the moment you move, what happens? So they have to cross that hills and valleys. Okay, so because of that, it is not that easy to pull the body. Okay, so automatically you will get the opposition force to the applied force here. So that opposition force is called now frictional force. Clear? Okay, at last you see the another force called tension. So tension is the force which exists always on a rope or any string, okay, which is used to pull a given body. Okay, so you can consider the example like this. See, there is a body lying on the table. Now I want to pull the body over the surface of the table. So what you will do? So let us consider a rope. So it is fixed at one end to the body and other end is free to pull. Okay, just to apply some force on the other end of the rope and pull it at one direction. Okay, with the force F bar. Applied force is now F bar. Okay, so what happens? The rope becomes taut. Okay, so initially it is not completely taut. So the moment you apply the force, it becomes completely taut. Then it starts pulling the body in the direction of the applied force. Okay, at that time you have to observe the force in the rope. Okay, force in the rope. That means the stretched string will have the tension in it. Okay, see, the two forces are like this: tension near the body and tension near the other end of the applied force also. Okay, so both acting in the opposite direction of course, but equal in magnitude. Okay, so that stretched string will have the tension in the body, tension in the string. So this is one example. The cord pulled is under tension. Similarly, if the body is fixed to one end of the string and the other end is passing over the pulley and then connected to a slotted weight. In that case also, so we are applying the force in the downward direction. Due to the weight, the applied force is now acting in the downward direction. Then also the string become taut and the tension exists in the string. Now in this case, the tension in the right side direction where the body is moving, the direction of the body moving, there is a tension acting in the string, and once it is passing over the pulley, okay, the direction of the tension changes here. So that means, so the applied slotted weight will give you certain force to pull the body. So in that case, say there is a pulling force acting on the weight also. So that pulling force is given by the tension T bar. Even at the pulley, there is a pulling force downwards, that is tension now here. And there is a pulling force on the body, that is also tension here. Okay. So that means the tension exists on the string over when it is passing over the pulley also. Okay. So that T bars are mentioned with the different directions. Only the direction changes here when the string is passing over the pulley. But the magnitude of the tension acting on the string, okay, is always remains constant. So with these examples now we can understand with the conclusions of the tension force here. See, when the massless and unstretchable cord, so it should be an unstretchable cord, okay, very strong unstretchable cord, or we can say rope, cable or chain, etc., is attached to a body and pulled taut, the cord is said to be under tension. It should be pulled taut, then only string will have the tension. Okay, so the next one is the pulling force. As I said, the pulling force itself is the tension. The pulling force on the body via cord T bar, whose direction is always away from the body and along the cord at the point of contact. Okay, should be away from the body and at the point of contact, okay, along the string. That is called actually tension T, as I said. Clear? So look at the next point. It pulls on both bodies with the same magnitude T. That means, as I told, so wherever you consider, so the tension is always having the same magnitude, even if the bodies and the cord are accelerating. So you can expect that if it is just taut, or even if the force applied to move the body, so that it is accelerated. In that case also, T remains constant, magnitude of tension remains constant, even if the cord passes over the frictionless pulley also. Okay, so magnitude of T remains constant. Clear? So this is all about the discussion on the various types of forces. Okay, so in the next video I will consider the concept called the motion in resistive media. Okay, the medium can be considered as a resistive medium, how it is going to affect on the velocity or acceleration of any moving body. Okay, so see you in the next video then.